Hey, football and beer fans. It's Dave and Chuck for the football beer, and that's why we're here our weekly show where we talk about those two things that I've already mentioned twice in the first 10 seconds of the show, and that is NFL football or football in general and our beer selection of the week. So we go out. This is like our third year now, and fortunately, the stores, there's a lot of great breweries out there and beers fortunately, I think I did copy or duplicate one time. Forgot which one it was. Maybe the Rasputin. But anyway, good morning, Dave. Welcome, buddy. Good to see you. You got a nice jersey on there, buddy.
Yeah, good morning. Had to rep my guy. Bryant Young got into the Hall of Fame yesterday, defensive tackle for my 49ers. So representing him on the show today, he had a really good speech. Had a good heartfelt moment. He unfortunately lost a son. And so that was, a real big part of his speech that a lot of people, took away that part of the speech yesterday. And Dick Vermeil got in. I know one of your guys that you liked as a coach. And it's always a great day. It's a great way, I think, to start off the season, how they do that. I mean, the Major League Baseball, when they do let one person in or whenever it is, it's not a big thing because baseball hardly lets anyone in ever. And I don't know. I feel like they don't glorify it as much. I usually don't even know when the Baseball Hall of Fame ceremony is. You have to look for the NBA one. You kind of have to search for that one too a little bit. But I feel like the football one, is the best one because they have it at the start of the season. It's the best way to start the season by celebrating these past legends of the game, and the speeches are all wonderful, and they get to thank everybody that helped them to get there. And so the NFL does it right, and I really think the MLB and NBA need to kind of pick up their Hall of Fame ceremonies and celebrate their sport and their legends a little bit better in that regard. But yeah, great ceremony yesterday as always.
No, that's awesome. Also, a very important day that was this week, and that was International Beer Day on August 5th. So here at the show, we like to celebrate International Beer Week every week. So let's start our show with that. So what do you have on tap for today?
Today I have 21st Amendment, and it's a blood orange IPA, and 21st Amendment is out of, I want to say, San Leandro, so Northern California. And it's just a nice, keeping that breakfast, juice theme from last week. I had a tangerine hazy, and then this week I'm going with the blood orange IPA. So pretty good.
It keeps you got to keep those fruits in the morning. Breakfast and awesome. I have it says it's canned in California, Paso Robles, but this week I have the Firestone Walker Brewing Mind Haze Tiki Smash IPA, and I'm going to be headed later this month to Hawaii. So this month, until we go, I'm going to be spotlighting some of some tropical brews, and I'll be doing one show from Hawaii. So I'll get a local brew from there. They have like Kona Brewing and Maui Brewing, and that are always good. But I'll see if I can find something different. But yeah, this is a nice cloudy IPA, and I'll tell you what, it's refreshing. I had a sip of it earlier when I was taking pictures out by the pool. You can see the pictures, the full spread on Twitter at NFL_beer. Follow us on Twitter. And but this one is another one. I drink this and I feel like I just feel like I'm on the beach already. No, it's smooth drinking. I'd actually, this is obviously just going to be a summer run, and but I'd have this out in the fridge by the pool. But it's a 6.2 there, and so it's I got a 12 pack that had 3 different tropical ones, and so I tried each of them yesterday, and this was by far my favorite. Not to say anything's wrong with the other ones, but that one was certainly my favorite. Oh, and I forgot to give a little bit of pub there, but we have some comments. So my Look, hey Debbie, thanks for no Coors Light. Yeah, we try to step it up just not much, but a nice cool Coors Light can with when the mountains are blue, it's cold. Is that beer? And haven't had one in a long time. But I'll tell you what, when it's hot outside and you're thirsty, taking one of those down is quite refreshing. Thanks for joining the show, Debbie, and yay. Well, now I got to get rid of that banner. Okay, so hey, we do have a little bit of football today. We're going to keep it tight, and we're going to talk a little bit of QB battles and spring camp and not spring camp and training camp, and get baseball off my mind. And but yeah, so there's a few teams out there that I think they got some quarterbacks that are going to be playing a lot this preseason, and I don't know if I think there's probably a pretty good idea who's probably going to be starting week 1, but I want to get your thoughts on some of these, and we're going to start in Pittsburgh there, your dad's team. They actually got a few guys here. I've been watching a little bit of training camp, and I've seen Pickett, Trubisky sent over to the side and Pickett in quite a bit. Trubisky should be the one that can win this job. And, but the guy is hot and cold. I mean, he could play lights out or 1 week, and then all of a sudden next week he looks like a rookie.
Yeah, I mean, I think Trubisky will probably start the season just because he's a veteran. They brought him in, I think, for that purpose, to kind of get whatever rookie they were going to draft ready, and that was Pickett. Pickett went to the University of Pittsburgh, so I'm sure all the fans there are ready to see Pickett because he's a local boy, went to college there. It's going to be a great story if he can be a good, solid quarterback for the Steelers and went to the University of Pittsburgh. And so they're all on that bandwagon. Rudolph has to be the guy out just because he was already there last year. And if he was doing well enough, you don't bring Trubisky in, and you also don't draft a guy also. So, I mean, Rudolph got double whammied with a veteran over his head and then a rookie underneath him. So I don't think he is long for being a Pittsburgh Steeler. I mean, this might be his last year there just for insurance purposes as the backup if Pickett isn't ready and something happens with Trubisky or he's just awful or something. But Pittsburgh obviously wants Pickett to be the guy there. I just think it's one of those cases where we might see him week 5, let a handful of games go. And if they're not winning or something anyway, you throw him to the wolves and you let him get experience, and he takes some hard knocks and gets experience this year. And then they're ready for next year. The only thing that's hard about that with Pittsburgh and Pittsburgh fans is, their coach doesn't lose. He's never had a losing season. He's been 8-8, but he's never had a losing season as a coach. So I hope Big Mike Tomlin, I hope they go 8-8 just to see that streak continue. But it's going to be tough for him this year with that list of quarterbacks right there.
Yeah, no, I think Trubisky is probably week 1 unless he just kind of absolutely falls apart somehow. But in training camp and the coach just doesn't have any faith in him. In that case, Trubisky could be out and Rudolph would be the backup, the starter. Sorry, but this could be another Giants, New York Giants scenario where they brought in Kurt Warner from the Rams, and freshly drafted Eli Manning, and Kurt played, I think, 5-6 games maybe, and they just made a switch, and it wasn't that Kurt was playing bad. They just, coach said, hey, we drafted this guy to be our future. And so, so they put my man, Kurt, on the bench, and, that sucked. But anyway, it worked out for the Giants. I think they got a pretty good quarterback in Eli, and had a good career there. But Rudolph could be I agree. He could be with another team in a few weeks, and someone looking for a solid backup. So this one, Falcons, they brought in Marcus Mariota. and they got Desmond Ritter there, and I mean they've pretty much said Marcus is week 1. Do you see anything changing there?
No, he's going to be the starter. I think the coach announced he's the starter. The rookie's just not ready yet, and this is. I don't know how well that Ritter guy will do, but of course, me and you as Duck fans and Mariota fans, I hope he just lights it up. I mean, I don't know if they'll win ball games. He doesn't have a whole lot to throw to right now. Their wide receiver core isn't the best. He has a great tight end in Kyle Pitts, which is good for him because Marcus moves around and he's good at throwing to a tight end. He's good throwing the seam route. So, checking down and moving around and getting the ball to Kyle Pitts, getting the ball to running backs out of the backfield like Cordell Patterson, who is his running back, but has always been mainly a wide receiver in the league, except for the last couple years. So he can catch out of the backfield really well. So I think all those things bode well for Mariota because he's never really been known to be like that deep ball passer guy anyway. And I don't know if they have anyone on their team that's going to get deep for him. So it's going to be a lot of check downs, short passes, screen passes, 5-yard routes, all that kind of stuff just to move the ball down the field. And then we know he can use his legs. We haven't seen it for a while, but he can move around and run and get first downs with his legs and things like that. And I think he'll have to be doing some of that also. So yeah, I definitely see Marcus as the starter for sure. And I hope he holds on to that job and shows why he was such a high draft pick. And, we've seen him be successful. So I hope he does it again.
Yeah, my insiders from training camp there in Atlanta say he's adapting well to the offensive scheme that the coach has drawn up, and my insiders being Google. But yeah, I mean, just reading the stories coming out of training camp there, he's acclimating well to the offense, and that's that. I mean, you need to be comfortable with what the coach is calling. Unlike here in Arizona. Our young star, and coach are still kind of having a little ego war, and and Cliff Kingsbury actually had Kyler Murray call his own plays against the scout team to show him how hard it was because Kyler was out on the field shaking his head at the plays being called in. So there's a little bit of a rift there, But anyway. So it's important. It's important that you have a quarterback that's on board with the offense and can run it and is comfortable with it. It'll make the season from week 1 a lot easier and the learning curve. So this one though could you want to even coming out of training camp, Baker Mayfield has the advantage, but Sam Darnold, a couple 2-3 years ago he was the hot name in New York. And failed there, hasn't done well with the Jags, and just who's your week 1 starter here?
So I see this almost as a business thing. So we have the Jaguars up there, but they're on the Panthers. The Panthers.
Oh,
I don't know. I'm not. They don't have – they have Robbie Anderson to throw to who's up and down. Some games he'll have a great game and some games he doesn't catch a ball. And Sam Darnold came out early from USC, I believe, and I don't think he was quite ready. He was rated so high, and it was probably smart for him to come out when he did because he got drafted high. Everyone loved all the tools he had and all that stuff. But the question I would ask is Sam Darnold have an Allstate commercial? Do you see him on TV? Does he have – this is a business. Yeah. People know who Baker Mayfield are. There might be some casual fans that still don't really know who Sam Darnold is. But they see Baker Mayfield on, Allstate commercials, and he's pretty funny, and he definitely has a big personality. He has that kind of like quarterback swagger that you would like for your team. And I think Sam Darnold barely talks. He seems like a real quiet guy, just comes to work, does his business. He's young, he's learning, whatever. But you got a bit of an alpha in Baker, And I mean, for the quarterback position, when we've looked at successful quarterbacks, I mean, historically, a lot of them are alphas. They have to be. That's the position. You have to run the team. You're the face of the team, all that thing. And I think just kind of for that reason, I give it to Baker. Like I let him. Plus, you picked him up. Why did you pick him up? If a guy like that, you're not going to pick him up to be your backup. Like how flamboyant he is, and like and he's not. This is a bad comparison. He's not Brett Favre, but he's going to make those type of plays where it's like all or nothing. Like he might throw an 80-yard touchdown, or he's going to throw a pick down the field. Like, right. But he's trying. He's trying to make a play. He's trying to give his receivers a chance, get in the end zone, like all those things. So I don't know. There's just a lot of reasons that I maybe start with Baker. And then guess what? That might be great for Sam because where he is and his age and the type of guy he is, if Baker falters and he comes in and then starts having success, that might really help him in that way. So I think you start Baker. But, if Baker's just not doing it, then you have a guy like Sam, you have him come in. If he has success, then maybe that's your guy because he's young. They're both young. That's the thing is neither one of these guys is old. They're both young guys. So, I mean, neither one of them is going to want to be there very long if they're not going to be the guy because they're both,
exactly,
not veterans. They're both still young. So they want to make a career somewhere. But I think I'd start Baker just for all those other reasons, the swag, he's a little bit more popular. If it's neck and neck, I edge Baker out because of those other things. If it's close.
Yeah, I agree. Baker Mayfield should be week one. You just gave up a bunch of money also to get him out of his big contract out of Cleveland. And I think he's a little more proven than Sam Darnold. A lot of the qualities that you just mentioned. Do you see a scenario where it could potentially, I don't know, be kind of like a New Orleans or Las Vegas, where you got to have that bench guy coming in, gadget plays here and there, like they've done with Hill and Mariota, or do you just think, these are two guys that just there's really no one strength that I need to bring Sam in for a play here or there?
Not really. I mean, if one of them was super dynamic with their legs, like running the ball or something like that, maybe you do, but I don't really see either one of those guys being that guy. So, yeah, I think one of them is just going to, whoever gets to start and play, they're going to have to falter and just not have a good series of games in a row for the other guy to come in and take it over.
Do you think that if it's definite, yeah, absolutely, we are 1,000% sold on Baker, win, lose, or draw? Do you see Sam Darnold being cut and released, traded?
I don't see him being cut. Traded maybe, but once we're here at this part, I don't think he'll get traded unless another team has their starting quarterback go down for injury and they don't feel like they have a solid backup or a backup equal to Sam or better. Just because, everyone's in training camp. They kind of have their rosters set. They kind of, unless some of their backup quarterbacks just play terribly during training camp and during preseason, and they just feel like, okay, we definitely need an upgrade at our backup who could potentially, be a good starter if our first goes down. But everyone kind of has their first locked in. When we were talking about doing this segment of quarterback battles and stuff like that, like right now, there's only not a lot. There's like 4 or 5. I mean, everyone really has their quarterback locked in on several teams. You know who the starter is. And if you don't by now, and we're already starting games coming up, preseason this week, you're in a lot of trouble. Like if you don't have a really good grasp through training camp who your starter is going to be, that's an issue. I mean, because look at the teams that have those franchise. I mean, there's so many that have the franchise guys. I mean, you can go through every every team for every division, conference, whatever. But it's like no one's fighting Patrick Mahomes, no one's fighting Justin Herbert, no one's fighting Aaron Rodgers, no one's fighting Tom Brady. Like even older veterans like Matt Ryan, no one's fighting him at the Colts.
Right.
And he's not really what he used to be, and he's new to the team. Most teams are locked in with their quarterback. So if you're having a quarterback battle right now, that's not really good news. I mean, and I think my team honestly would be one that would have it if Garoppolo was healthy and he didn't have his shoulder rehab going on. And if he was completely healthy, I still think he would be in a shot to win that 49er job, even though they got Lance and he's real young. But the guy led you to the NFC Championship game last year. He's led you to a Super Bowl. You can't discredit that. I mean, is he throwing for 400 yards and 3-4 touchdowns a game? No, but he's winning games. Like, he's doing good enough to get you playoff wins. Like, so you can't just dismiss that. But
and we'll get to him in a sec. I got one more team. I got one more battle here, potential and or scenario, because let's go over to Seattle, to Whitney's team there, and you've got Geno Smith and Drew Lock. I have no idea who's going to be the quarterback.
Whitney, who do you want as your quarterback, Drew Lock or Geno Smith? She said Drew. She said Drew very softly, not with a lot of confidence. I don't think she's sad. She said, "I'm sad."
Geno's serviceable. I mean, he's played well. He knows the system. Probably his one hand up here. Drew Lock has probably had more starts, obviously. And, without that thin air and, in Seattle, his ball may not go as far. It's a different, atmosphere. So I don't know how Drew will, I have no idea who'll be the quarterback. I actually think there's a potential that it's neither one of them, but that's, probably isn't going to happen. But, all year long or all off season, Seattle has been talking about, names have been coming up for Seattle, and they haven't made a move. And, you're going to miss Wilson. And, but the team wasn't really moving. I mean, he's a fantastic quarterback. The team just wasn't moving with him. And it goes back to last week where I don't know that Pete Carroll, with all the changes and upgrades or, start over with Seattle, that Pete Carroll shouldn't be there either. It's should be a whole new environment, whole new franchise under development. So I don't know. What do you think on this?
There's a few teams this year that when I look at it, and this could be one of them, because Drew Lock was a young player and he was taken fairly high in the draft by Denver, and it took them 2 minutes. And guess who one of their head guys is John Elway. So John Elway should know about quarterbacks. He's a Hall of Fame quarterback. Mm-hmm. He brought Peyton Manning in and they won a Super Bowl because he understood you have to have a really good quarterback to win Super Bowl, to win consistently in this league. And then he let Drew Lock go and got Russell Wilson, who's on the later part of his career. He's not, Tom Brady old or Aaron Rodgers old, but he's not in his prime years coming up.
Right.
So obviously John Elway and the Broncos realized, well, Drew Lock's not our guy. He's not going to be the guy. We don't see a future for him. And if they did, they would have kept him. So I feel like Seattle with this rebuilding period, and there's a couple other teams in the league where this year is going to be a hard year for them. And unfortunately, the way of professional sports and entertainment, sometimes there's teams that are okay with that. They're okay with taking a year off and doing the best they can to regroup and to re-strategize. And so really, I see this as a year where they get through the year with maybe these two guys and they win 5 games. And they're okay with that because they're going to take one of the top 3 quarterbacks next year in the draft when they have one of the top 10 picks in the draft. and they start their whole franchise over, and they have a new young face at quarterback. And because there's some good ones coming out, there's like 3 or 4 really good, legit quarterbacks this year in college football. I think the draft class for quarterbacks this year will be more solid for sure than last year. So I think there's a few teams just banking on, you know what, like Houston, Davis Mills, right? He doesn't really have anyone fighting the job for him, but he should. Like, he's not that great yet. Maybe, hopefully for him, he makes me eat my words right now. But, when you're looking around the league and you're talking about names and quarterbacks, does anyone even know who the starting quarterback for Houston is? If you asked a casual fan, they wouldn't know who he is. And he has no one threatening his job. So for me, it's like Houston's kind of one of those teams too, where like, guess what? They're going to win 3 or 4 games, and they're drafting a quarterback next year to compete with Davis Mills. And that kid, whoever they draft, is probably going to win that competition. And that will be their quarterback moving forward. So, I don't know. I don't see either one of the, I don't see Seattle going out and maybe getting a Jimmy Garoppolo once he's healthy. I think maybe they stick with Drew Lock and hope and pray he does as well as he can this year because he's young and he was a high draft pick. But I really think they're just looking for the future, and they haven't found their quarterback yet. They're just going to use these 2 guys until they have an opportunity to get someone else they want.
Yeah, I can't imagine though that they finally signed DJ Metcalf, and this guy's got to be going like, how am I going to get the ball this year? Am I wasting a year of my career? He signed. I mean, I don't know. He signed. I mean, I guess that's all that's important, and maybe he saw something there within one of those 2 quarterbacks. Says, yeah, this guy can get it to me, and or I may be the only outlet for this guy, so I'm going to look good this year, and it'll help. Maybe help my trade stock next year. I don't know, but you got a fantastic top tier receiver there that obviously is bought into a year with them and whatever they're going to put on the field. So hey, I just want to give a shout out to Kim. I'm not going to put the comment up, but she just said she's enjoying the show. She has to lay down, not feeling well, and she loves us and will check in with us next week. But hey, we got a couple more things before we check out for the day. So you were talking a little bit about Garoppolo. So that's kind of what I wanted to throw out there, kind of just as we are talking about these QB battles, maybe these open positions. And so who's still out there to be traded? I mean, you said Garoppolo. I mean, I'm shocked. I know shoulder surgery, all that kind of stuff. But you know what? Everyone rehabs. They all come back from whatever ailment. There's got to be some significant concern. I don't know that it's injury, the concern for teams that haven't tried to sign Garoppolo. And like you said, the guy if you go back and watch our shows, I was not on board with this guy until about 3/4 of the way through the season. So the light switch went on, and this guy was winning games for the 49ers. And he looked like a guy that was fighting for his job, and he did it successfully. Now the 49ers are going to move on with their future, what they believe is their future. And, this guy is sitting there. I think he could be a serviceable quarterback and start somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, there's a good handful of teams that have these young quarterbacks. Like, it didn't work out for Locke in Denver, right? He's a young quarterback, and it didn't work out early. And there's a few other ones kind of around the league that you're going to kind of wait and look and see like, hey, is this guy really going to pan out? Both the New York quarterbacks, Zach Wilson, Daniel Jones, are they going to pan out? They could be Drew Locks. I mean, they haven't won games. They're not lighting up the league. Maybe they weren't the guy, that the teams thought they were going to be. So maybe that's a situation. Same like I was just talking about Houston. Maybe you bring in a Jimmy Garoppolo who's been to a Super Bowl, been to an NFC championship game. is a good leader. Like teammates like him, fans like him. You bring him into Houston, and then Davis Mills is your young backup, and maybe you have a quarterback battle there. So there's a good handful of teams like that that have some young guys starting right now that maybe he can go in, and if that young quarterback's struggling, and be the backup to start, and then he just falls right into that starting job and he just takes it over. But yeah, I mean, he's got a hefty amount of contract that someone's going to have to pay for like a year or two. I'm sure his next contract will be less because now he's seen almost as a backup and he's had surgery. So that number will come down, but not a ton. He's still an NFL quarterback. They still get paid a ton. But someone will have to take that contract on and just have that confidence in him that he's going to be the guy and not some younger quarterback that may be on the roster, or, hey, we're going to rebuild and draft a kid next year. And that's our plan. And he gets stuck in the same situation that he was in San Francisco, where, he was just filling the role and filled it to a Super Bowl and an NFL championship game. And it's kind of crazy because, he doesn't have the numbers everyone has and stuff, but his quarterback rating's good. He doesn't make a lot of mistakes. He doesn't make a ton of big plays, but he makes enough good plays. He's accurate with the ball. And I don't know if I've seen too many quarterbacks kind of as disrespected as him, as a guy that's got to a Super Bowl, an NFC championship game. Yeah. And, he doesn't have a Randy Moss. I mean, their wide receiver plays running back, for goodness sake. Like, it's not like he's got Devontae Adams out there, or, somebody like that. And it's just, he has to play the scheme, and he's always been a scheme. I mean, you got to play the Belichick way in New England, and you had to play the scheme with Shanahan. I mean, he's figured out how to come in and be smart and make plays and run an offense and do all that stuff. I feel like he's been kind of really disrespected for all the things that he's been asked to do and he's done. If he stayed healthy, I don't all his career, I don't know if he'd be having this problem. I'm surprised some team hasn't wanted to pick him up to, be their leader.
I'm surprised also. I mean, I think, I understand 49ers want to move on Trey Lance. And like I said, I was not a big fan of Garoppolo last year until about 3/4 of the way through. And then he earned my respect, last several games of the year. And, and he did. He moved, he could move the pocket. He hit Kittle a lot. I mean, he knew he read his checkdowns very well and was moving the ball, and it moved the team. And it wasn't a Super Bowl team, but he was moving that team. It wasn't a Super Bowl caliber team, but at the end of the season, everything clicked, and especially with him. And I was just kind of going through. I was looking over here of the teams that maybe, who could have signed. Obviously, Seattle was up there, but I mean, they're in division. But New Orleans, the Bears, Commanders, Eagles even. I mean, I'm not sold on what they got going on in Philadelphia. I was chatting with a buddy about he gave me his maybe I'll save that for next week. He sent me his entire season breakdown for guy I cycle with, and sent me his full. I mean, what he has finishing for each division, who's going to win their division, win the playoff game, and who wins the Super Bowl. And he has the Super Bowl winner winning in overtime.
Oh, that's a bold prediction.
Right? And I almost want to take $10 and just put it on Vegas somewhere. It's like, hey, I'm betting on your pick for $10 because, I mean, I did analyze it. I said I took like 2 minutes. I looked at it and I said, I have a couple of things there. But one of them was that he picked, obviously, he had Dallas winning their division. And I said, you know what? I might put Philadelphia up there. I said, Dallas is just, if Dallas doesn't start, just absolutely start strong, because they're not sold on the running back right now. And I mean, there's just Ezekiel Elliott is I don't know that the faith is still there with him. And So, and if you just put it on the QB's arm, you're not going to win. So, I don't know what's going to happen in Dallas. And so one of these I don't think the Giants or Washington Commanders are going to do it. So I think Philadelphia is probably the only team in that NFC East to maybe, get up there and fight for that win. So that was my only comment there. And then he had the Falcons finishing last. And because I'm a homer, in the NFC South, I said, no, Atlanta will be up there in second. So, just because I'm a homer and for Marcus Mariota and the Oregon Ducks. So, but yeah, I'll have to copy and send it to you and see what you think. And maybe we'll I'll call him out. Nathan Ramsey, by the way, is the individual. He's watched our show before. So, hey, before we go though, it was a nice tight show. Thanks for all of your excellent insight. Hey, there's a lot of people that are a part of our annual fantasy football league, and we are going to go ahead real quick before we end the show, and we are going to do our draft for our fantasy league. And while he gets that all ready, don't forget to follow us, like us, and follow us. You can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube at Sports and Drafts, and we're now on Twitter. We're actually broadcasting live right now on Twitter at NFL_beer. So Dave's got his beautiful wife coming on to assist with the random selection so that Dave doesn't pick his own name. Hey, can I see the bucket before you make sure it's tossed around, mixed up really good, that your name just isn't sitting on the top there, because I got a really crappy draft pick last year and I was really doing well with getting like number one. So I need a number one. So fans out there watching, just put your hands up right now and okay, let's go. Chuck.
All right, here you go, Whitney. Pick the first one.
I'm trying, Chuck.
Chuck.
It's my dad.
Oh, he's a champ. He was a champion, and he gets the first pick.
Oh, damn. I'm out.
Keep going. Well, congratulations, Jim, who doesn't have social media or anything.
Yeah,
So
we'll send
Doesn't
him.
care.
Brandon.
Yeah,
have them in order.
Okay.
Terrible order.
You
Ooh,
are
number
third.
3.
Misdraft.
All right.
Start over.
Andrew.
Oh, Andrew. Number
Well, there goes. He's going to be sad Cooper Kupp will be gone already by Jim, first pick.
Me.
Oh.
Number 5.
Oh. Cup. How do I take Cup? Hold on. Dill.
Dylan.
Bill's got number 5. Jim, Brandon.
6.
Dave.
6. On 6. I'm 5.
Dave.
Yeah. Derek Crutzen.
Crutzen, who was in the championship
He was in the
game
championship
against
last
Jim
year,
last
yeah.
year. That was his
Good.
best
I'm just
season.
gonna at this point. I'm just gonna auto draft.
It works for
Screw it.
Dylan every year.
I know. Dylan's great at auto drafting. Eric.
Oh, Brooks, you're last.
Oh,
Hey,
Chuck.
no one's gonna steal
I
your
didn't-
pick. You'll have those
Wait.
back-to-back picks.
I will. I want last now.
You didn't even put him in there.
Oh, you're not even in there? Or you gave me 2 things. I'm
No, I did
almost
not.
positive he was in there. Redraft.
Babe. Chuck.
Oh,
I know I wrote his name. Oh, he's on the floor.
We're gonna have to redraft.
You fell out of the thing.
you know what? I'll just you can keep the order. I'll just take last pick.
No, this is for redraft.
Oh, damn.
This is perfect.
Okay, scratch that.
I was like,
You
I
have-
know I wrote
Do you
everyone's
have 10
name.
names? Do you have 10 slips of paper in the cup?
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
There's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Okay.
Yeah, you're the only one that fell
I
out.
was left on the floor,
You're on the floor.
just like my popular scene in Top Gun. It was just left on the editing
Left on
room
the
floor.
I'm 10.
Okay.
I was like, there's only, that was
Oh,
weird.
so you're saying I got a chance?
So you're saying I got to hey, fans, hands back up again.
There you
Here we
go.
go.
Here you go, Whitney. New
Okay.
order.
Everybody's
Sorry.
in here. Chuck's not on the floor.
Sorry, Jim.
Yeah, sorry, Dad. Bye.
Who doesn't have social media and won't see this anyway?
Chef.
Chev.
She was last. Okay. All right, Chevy.
Chef got first.
She's going to a 49ers game this year.
Yeah, they're going to the 49ers Seahawks game.
Andrew.
Andrew
Andrew
moved up
moved
2
up.
spots. Andrew moved up.
Dill.
Dylan
Dylan.
moved up.
Me. Well, I got this. Am I the same? Was that
You're
4?
4.
I was 5.
I just moved down, so it's my penance for putting Chuck on the floor. I just moved down the order.
Brandon.
Brandon, we're still on the back.
I don't think
Doesn't-
we got last.
We got Andrew, Dylan.
Eric.
Eric.
Oh, I might still get my last pick now. I want number 10.
Chuck.
Wow.
you just
Oh, that's a
gave me
horrible place.
7 or so. What are you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You.
Me, so you can steal my pick. That'll be good. We can
Crutzen.
steal each other's picks
Who?
back and forth.
Derek
Eric
Crutzen.
Crutzen.
Oh,
Yeah.
and then Dad's last.
Jim went from first to last.
Oh.
We won't
Hold
tell
it.
him.
We'll put that
He'll
in
like
the
last. He likes the double because you get 2 picks
Yeah.
in a row.
All right, there you go. Chev, Andrew, Dylan, Whitney, Brandon, Eric, Chuck, Dave, Derek, and Jim.
Yeah.
So our 2022 fantasy draft.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, okay. Oh, I hate those mid-round picks.
I know.
Yeah, it's a long wait to come back sometimes, but
But
Yeah.
you never ever know. People you never know what's
I
going
don't
to happen.
mind because something's going to happen. Like Dylan's going to be third, and it's going to auto draft him McCaffrey, and McCaffrey's going to get hurt again, and he's going to lose his first round draft pick again. Because didn't that happen to him last year?
I had McCaffrey last year.
Oh, you did
Yeah.
last year. Yeah.
I had him the year
So-
before.
Sometimes it really sucks when you get that really early pick and they go down, and then you're like, oh, I just lost my first round draft pick for the whole season. That's wonderful.
Yeah, no, that's yeah, that sucks.
Never know.
Yeah, so I'll have to do some because I was going to come in with a whole new strategy this year, and just the way the league has been going, the way that players are playing, I've just got a whole new strategy, and it's going to make it a little bit tougher. I would have liked 1 or 10, and but it is what it is. So
Hey,
well, thank you, Whitney. You did a so-so job of selecting names. I mean,
I
so-so.
tried, Chuck.
better than me putting them in the cup.
Yeah.
And you should have just stuck with it and said, "Oh wait, Chuck's name's on the. Oh, you're number 10."
It was just perfect that it was yours too. While we
You
were
wanted
recording.
that. You're like, just leave it.
Yeah,
right? So,
that'd be yours.
well, thank you, Dave. Thank you, Whitney. Thank you, everyone that's going to watch this show during the week. And so, don't forget to again check out Football Beer. That's why we're here. And you can see us everywhere in the world. And check out the brews that we've brought to you today from Firestone Walker and the Tiki Smash IPA and I almost called you Dylan. The 21st Amendment Blood Orange IPA that Dave has shared with us. So check them out at Firestone Walker on Twitter and all that good stuff. So and Whitney's got her breakfast beer going. So.
Woo.
Hey, everyone, and let us know if you like the date and time. Our goal is to do this right before pregame, as part of your pregame activities, festivities before, each Sunday. So let us know. And other than that, we will see you all next week at 9 a.m. Sunday on the West Coast. So, all right, everyone, have a great day. Bye.